Destiny TV.
A very warm good evening to you wherever you are watching us from. This is Destiny TV. You're watching Boresha Ukulima, and my name is Kennedy Mushira, and my sign language interpreter is Daniel Musioka. And of course, I do trust you're doing well and you are still keeping safe over this critical time. All of us, we are facing this pandemic. And I do believe that we are going to learn and we are going to interact. And today, we are focusing more on Boresha Ukulima, on the challenges that our farmers do face on the farm. And join me today, we explore this and more. And on the introduction, just as you can see on your screen, that is one of the challenges that people in the field of farming, our farmers face, is poor transport and communication challenges. And what do I mean by poor transport? Of course, you know that agriculture plays a major role in the economy, not only in Kenya, but even outside Kenya. And it is the backbone of this economy. Of course, I was reading an article somewhere, and they were saying that the field of agriculture contributes up to whatever is the GDP that is produced in Kenya. It contributes to 30%, and I don't know how much you contribute to this field. And as you can see the pictures there, that's one of the roads that links people from their farms all the way to the marketing place. But the market has been greatly interfered. The market has been greatly affected. And as you can see there, people have been complaining now and then about climate change. Remember that we've been talking about climate change now and then. When in the last episodes that we've had, you'll be able to get more on climate change. But now on the road, you can see there, when the rains came, the road that links people, the farmers from the farm to the market, the road has been damaged. And what is the government doing? What is the initiative that the government is putting into practice so that those farmers that comes from that region can access the market very well? So that's the challenge our farmers do face. There's another photo you can see there about that vehicle. You can see that is the Maram Road. The vehicles are not able to access to the marketplace because the transport network is very poor. Our farmers are really crying. And the government has to do something so that we may enhance the life of that farmer. And that vehicle reminds me so many years ago when we used to use those vehicles to transport our commodities to the market. We'll be looking more on the same later on. And again, I want us to understand there's another challenge, that of climate change. As you can see on your screen, there is the first picture there. There's that picture, there are some animals that are dead, and you can ask me what is really happening in those pictures. You find that this picture was taken earlier last year when there was a drought. You remember in Kenya we faced so many challenges last year. There was flooding everywhere. There was a drought earlier last year. And that picture you can see there, the animals in northeastern were dying. And right now, all of us, we are complaining. We are complaining about the flood. And what are we doing so that we may conserve that retro water? We may conserve that water that is coming, that is being harvested from the rains. Or maybe after some few months, we'll be complaining again about this drought. So I would love to tell you that if you have a way out, harvest the rainwater, preserve that water, and once you conserve that, you'll be able to use it in future days. You see, nowadays, all of us, we are going digital. All of us, we are embracing farming. We are embracing new technologies so that you may be able to improve production in the farm. So we are supposed to harvest that water and use that water in future. And the great challenge is that most of us will be complaining about this drought when that time comes. You can see there is another picture right there. There is that man who is trying to help the family cross over the other side. And these are the issues of climate change. So climate change affects farmers directly. Sometimes farmers have no knowledge. They don't have knowledge to understand what is really happening. They really need people who are well versed in the field of agriculture to be able to disseminate knowledge to them, and then the farmers will be meliorated. And when the life of a farmer is improved, it means that these farmers will be able to adapt those techniques and then improve production of their farms. Because remember, in Boresha we always say that embrace farming and you feed a nation. Why are you embracing farming? One reason you do embrace farming is that you want to feed a nation, and a nation cannot be called a whole nation if it's not started by you. So you have to feed the nation right from your household, then feed your county, feed the nation, feed the entire world. So it's very, 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 very critical for you to understand the issue of climate is a challenge that is affecting our farmers. And another issue on the same, you need to understand that climate has a lot of aspects, such as there are rainfalls. As you can see on your screen, there is that picture of that guy who is trying to help the family cross over the other side. The issue of drought, you can still see there, it's depicted there. You can, another aspect of climate change, there are also these the rise of temperature. So when the temperature rises, they shift this climate, they shift, and once they shift, they resort to such things as a drought, as you can see on your screen. And another aspect I can talk about is that of humidity. You know that humidity do affect plants a lot. So we say that photosynthesis is a process by which the plant use to make their own food. So plants, they really have to, the plant needs the sunlight. Plant needs, there are poles on the leaves of the plant. And if the plants do not carry out the photosynthesis process, that means the plant will not have that food. What do I mean? I mean this, that plant, whenever, okay, like take an example, you were planting like skuma wiki. When you plant skuma wiki, you have to apply fertilizers such as DAP during planting and CAN on top dressing. When you apply your fertilizer, plants utilize the nutrient. They absorb the nutrient from the soil using the roots. And the plants, for it to continue the metabolysis process, and other such processes, it has to do what we say that is photosynthesis. So photosynthesis has to happen. And once the humidity in the atmosphere is high, it means the transpiration will be inhibited. Therefore, plant will not be able to do the transpiration very well. So that's another challenge. So there's a lot on the issue of climate change. And you can refer to the episode we did on climate change, and you'll find more on that. Another issue of climate, on the challenges that farmers face is that of emergence of pests and diseases. As you can see on your screen, there is that first picture on a locust invasion. Since last year and even this year, it's only that the COVID issue has taken over. We have been always saying in the media, in the news, what is happening. The locusts are there, are invading our farms, and we are not able to harvest. So I saw a farmer, I was reading an article somewhere, a farmer was complaining that we are lacking food to eat. Why? Because the locusts invaded our crops, therefore there is nothing that is remaining on the farm, and we are not able to eat. So what do we do? What do we do? So the farmers are complaining a lot. The farmers are really crying, but what do we do? So that's another challenge that our farmers face. Then you can see some avocados there. All of us love eating avocados. Whenever you cook rice or ugali, you accompany it with avocado. And you can see the avocado have been affected greatly by diseases. So when the pest and diseases emerge, they interfere with the production, because such kind of an avocado you can see on your screen cannot be taken to the market. When you take such kind of an avocado to the market, someone will not buy, or will you? You can't. You can't. Because for one, the quality of that avocado is low. Again, the sensory characteristics of that avocado is also down. So you remember, when you buy an avocado, whatever you're interested with is the fat, the fat content in that avocado. But once it has been affected by the pest and diseases, the quality goes down. You can also see some onions, the picture of onions on your screen. That onion has been affected by those worms you can see there. There are some diseases that are coming up, and they affect this product greatly. And again, you also need to understand there's a new pest that has come into to attack tomatoes. It's called tutor obscurata. That tutor do affect tomatoes a lot. They affect the leaves of the tomatoes. They affect even the fruit itself. So when you take the fruit to the market, it will not fetch good market. Why? Because the characteristic, the required characteristics of that commodity, it's not pleasing to the ultimate consumer. So your fruits or your production will be discarded, your commodities will be discarded, and therefore you'll go a lot of loss. So there's that challenge of emergence of pests and diseases, and all of us are evident, and you are sure about that. An example is that of a locust. Then there is another issue, and that of climate change. I mentioned this earlier, and as you can see, in Ukambani, that's one area that was reported to face drought calamities. And once the drought occurs, it means there is no water. It means there is no pastures. For those of us who are doing livestock keeping, maybe you have a dairy farm, you have your cows there, you need to do, maybe you need to harvest napier grass for your cows, maybe you need some lucerne, you need some bracharia, you need some lucerne and all that to feed your cows. And one thing you need to understand is that if there is no rain, it means that you'll not be able to access this pasture for your livestock. So even farming maize, it will be a challenge for you. Even doing some other crops such as cabbages, tomatoes, and onions and other crops, you'll not be able to do them effectively. Why? Because the weather has changed. There's no water for it, even though it means irrigation. Maybe the waters in those rivers, they are dried up. Like in Meru County, the other day, the level of water in River Kadita went down, and people were asking, why is all this? You find our children are playing in those rivers, the rivers that in early days we used not even to close over the other side because the rivers were full. But nowadays the children are playing in those rivers. So what is happening is there's that shifting. There's the climate change is affecting agriculture a lot, and our farmers are really crying, and we be able to see that. And you can see also the other part, it's the flooding part. You can see there was that picture was taken in Ukambani as well. You see that there's that flooding. Why is that flooding? It's the issue of climate change, and our farmers do not have the knowledge to predict the weather. They do not have the knowledge to know what is really happening. And remember, you need to understand that so that you may be able to know what is really happening in this field of agriculture. And we go to another issue of poor handling of commodities. That is poor handling practices. So in that picture you can see there is a picture there with a truck with some mangoes. And I remember there's a time I visited certain market in Nairobi, near Nairobi, and people were bringing their commodities in the market. The commodities that I took some pictures were cabbages and tomatoes. I found that some people were transporting their tomatoes via a pro box. They had just loaded their tomatoes in that pro box, and you could even tell these people have no knowledge on the big loss they are encountering. Because remember that we say that 40% of what is produced goes to waste. Remember the other day we were handling on post-harvest handling practices, and we told you on the best practices that you can put into use so that you may make your product to fetch good market. But that's a big challenge for all of us as farmers, for all of us, even as consumers. Remember, you're watching there. Remember, whenever you go to the market, maybe you buy some 2 kilograms of tomatoes or 1 kg of onions. Once you take your tomatoes or your commodities at home, you do not have refrigerator maybe. And how do you store those commodities? So once you preserve them or you put them anyhow, those commodities will go into waste. Therefore, you as an ultimate consumer, you be contributing greatly to food loss. You be contributing to post-harvest loss. So you really need to understand how to handle these commodities well, and from there you'll be able to understand the best measures to put into practice so that you may save that commodity and have enough food to eat even in future. And on the same, there's another, I can see there is a farmer there. That farmer, she's harvesting tomatoes, putting them in the bucket and then in a basin. Then she's awaiting to transport those tomatoes to the market. And one thing, whenever I go to the market, I don't just buy tomatoes, I don't just buy onions or cabbage. I always check that commodity, whether it is suiting the desirable characteristics that I'm looking for. So whenever I look at the tomatoes, maybe the skin is bruised, maybe the cabbages are rotten, or such kind of a damage, I don't buy that commodity because it's not suitable for me to consume that. As well, even you, I know that there are some desirable characteristics that you look into, and when you go to the market, please just buy what is good. And the farmers, when they go to the market, let them make sure that they take good commodities to the market. But it's a challenge because of the way they handle these commodities. Some people do harvest cabbage and they throw them to the truck. That is the wrong way of handling these commodities. So that mother and that farmer needs a lot of knowledge to understand on how to harvest tomatoes, place them well in a crate. The crate must have some cartons at the corners, and then those tomatoes are transported to the market and they will fetch good market. But once you handle them like this she is doing, then it means that you'll not fetch good market. On the same, you can see some pictures there. There are some farmers in certain market in Meru County whereby people are transporting their bananas. You see there is that motorbike there, and that farmer harvested the banana, and the farmer transport the banana via the motorbike. So if you mishandle that commodity, it will be bruised. Therefore, once you sell that banana and the person who is buying goes and ripens the banana will not ripen 100%. Some of them will be damaged. Why? Because there are some other post-harvest damages like bruises and all that. So you need to understand on how you can handle those commodities well. You can see some people there with there's a lorry, there's a pro box there. You can see all those pictures. And we say that 40% of what is produced always is lost to a point of consumption. What do I mean by consumption? At times you find that whenever okay, let's take an example of a maize. When you harvest maize, you preserve the maize, and maybe you sell to a milling factory. When that maize is sold to that milling factory. They process some things like flour, maize flour. And once you cook your ugali, you don't cook ugali that you can consume as a family. You cook excess food. And once, what happens? You throw ugali the following morning. And that contributes a lot to food loss or to food wastage. Don't waste food. It's very important for all of us, and we've seen most of us are crying. We do not have food, but we are contributing to this percent loss. And something else you also need to understand there, I told you that agriculture, we said it is the backbone of Kenyan's economy, and it contributes 35% of GDP. That is the agriculture itself, because why? It involves the use of machinery, the use of equipment and fertilizers in the process of farming. So if you use those, it means that you've improved the farming. And that's why we always bring you Boresha Ukulima. Why do you bring you Boresha Ukulima? To give you the knowledge that you need as a farmer, as a consumer, and then from there, you'll be able to have enough food to feed your family, to feed your county, to feed your nation, and to feed the entire world. Therefore, you need to understand and adapt those practices, and you go far. Then we talk about the issue of lack of market, and that's where the weight is. The challenge, the biggest challenge happens there. There's no lack of market. Like today, all of us know that we are dealing with the issue of corona, and now because there's no market, what is happening to those commodities that are being produced by our farmers? What is really happening? You tell me. I will ask a question, and even before we break, even we go for a break, I will ask you a question. But let us look into this issue of market. When there's no market, where are those commodities that our farmers will produce go? Where will they go? You just tell me, where will those commodities go? And there is a picture there. You can see there is a lot of tomatoes. I was speaking to a friend of mine from Pakistan, and he was telling me that in Pakistan there is a big loss of production. Why? Because farmers are producing huge harvest, and once they produce those commodities, there is no market. And that picture, and he was telling me that those farmers are crying because there's no market. And those tomatoes you can see, there's that truck there. It goes to the farm, collects all the tomatoes, and comes and dumps the tomatoes there. You can see all of them are tomatoes. And you can also see there's a picture of grapes there. They look very sweet, very appetizing, and I do believe that you can see the picture clearly. And those grapes, they will not be having the market. Why? Because the market is closed. What do? How are we going to help our farmers now that there is no market? We really need to find ways to help our farmers. We really need to find ways to help our farmers. We'll be looking more on how we can mitigate all those challenges, and shortly I'll bring you there. And the uncertainty that happen and that contribute a lot to this issue of food loss, this issue of famine. There is a challenge that happens. Number one, we say that there is that flood. As you can see, there is a video there. I picked that video somewhere. You can see there is a river that is flooding. People cannot cross over the other side. Why? Because the rivers are flooding. Therefore, we are unable to cross to the other side. Why? Because it is uncertainty. It is something that you never anticipated. It is something that you never saw it coming. And therefore, those things are affecting us as farmers, are affecting you as a consumer. Because if a farmer does not produce, then it means you will not eat. True, you not eat. If I do not produce those cabbages, what will you have for your salad? What will you have? If we do not have those kienyeji vegetables, indigenous vegetables, what will you be having for your meals? It means that there is no food. And I believe you've seen that video. And lastly, we are going to we are going to discuss more on how we can mitigate these challenges, and after the break we'll be looking more into that. And the big question is, even before we break, what is the solution to these challenges? You've seen all those challenges, the pest, diseases. You've seen the poor transport and communication. Sometimes you go to Turkana, you go to other part of Kenya, you try to make communication, and maybe you want to buy something online. You cannot buy. Why? There is no network. So there is that poor communication networks. That's a challenge. And you've seen challenges, pest, diseases, communication, transport, those issues and diseases and all that. And those are the challenges that our farmers are facing. And once our farmers face all those challenges, they will not be able to produce food enough for all of us. They will not be able to produce food for all of us. So the big question is, what is the solution to all these challenges? Remember, you can send us comment via the number that is appearing to the very bottom edge of your screen. Send us the comment there. We'll be able to understand how we can solve these challenges. And also as well, you can visit our Facebook page, Go Like Destiny TV Kenya. Leave us your comment in that texting box there, and we'll be able to read that even after we come back after the break.
Every day, people leave their home to the market either to buy or sell. A majority do not have an idea on where to sell or where to get what they want. Why? What is not marketed is not known. Not advertising is like stopping a watch to save time. Worry no more. Destiny Television and Destiny Radio are here to connect you to your next client. Talk to us for your business visibility and improved sales. For more information, contact us on 0721 140 831 or 0724 156 703. Destiny Television, impacting your life. Ladies and gentlemen, are you looking for a super contractor? Then choose Elegance Contractors, dealers in building, water and roadworks, architectural and structural drawings, estimate, material schedules and site supervision. We are NCA registered and can work countrywide. Our offices are located at Morero Building, Kirukuri Road, opposite Nchege Plaza, ground floor. Quality, competence, honesty and good workmanship are our 4 key agendas to delivering your best needs. For more information, kindly contact our office on 0722 349245. Elegance General Contractors. We look forward to working with you.
Tangu mwishoni mwa mwaka jana, homa ya virusi vya corona yani COVID-19 imeibuka kuwa tisho kubwa la kiafya. Maambukizi ya homa hii yameenea ulimwenguni kote, wala hakuna aliye salama. Serikali kupitia idara ya afya imeweka mikakati miongoni mwao ikiwa uchunguzi wa homa ya corona miongoni mwa wasafiri katika mipaka yake yote kote nchini.
I'm very happy about the screenings that are going on in Tanzania and Kenya. I think it's very proactive that you're thinking about stopping it at the border so that it does not spread.
Inatisha kufikiri kukohoa tu kidogo kwa mazingira haya unaweza sababisha mlipuko wa homa hii usio na kifani. Ili kuzuia haya, serikali imeweka mikakati tosha kuhakikisha usalama wa Kenya wote.
The facility has all the equipments you need from handling a basic patient up to ICU setting.
Hata hivyo, wewe pia unalo jukumu katika kusaidia kuzuia kuenea kwa maambukizi.
Citizen responsibility is the key to the success of this initiative and these measures. Let's all do what we have to do individually. And this is how we are going to defeat this disease.
It's just our general hygiene, okay? And that now means at workplaces, we should ensure that our work surfaces are clean.
Always ensure that nimefanya proper sanitation ya mikono. Every time na board matatu, lazima ni sanitize mikono.
Sisi kama taifa tumepata kukumbana na changamoto nyingi na kali maishani, na kila wakati tumeibuka washindi. Hii homa ya COVID-19 hata kama inatisha, si tofauti nazo. Komesha corona, zingatia maagizo kutoka Wizara ya Afya. Nawa mikono jinsi inavyostahili.
To serve you better, your favorite publication has changed name from the Mashariki News to the Eastern Newspaper. Look out for the latest issue from a vendor or our outlet in Meru, Embu, Tharaka Nithi, Isiolo, Samburu and Marsabit. Telephone us on 0101 599 651 or email us on info@easternnewspaper.co.ke or www.easternnewspaper.co.ke. The Eastern Newspaper. Be in the know.
Coronavirus COVID-19 is a respiratory virus spreading across the world. The infection is spread from droplets of coughing and sneezing of an infected person, touching or shaking hands or being in contact with contaminated surfaces or objects with the virus. The signs and symptoms are fever, coughing, headache, body ache, difficulty in breathing. The disease can be prevented by regularly washing hands with soap and running water. Avoid close contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. Avoid handshake, hugs, and kissing. Also, protect yourself by covering your mouth or nose using a disposable tissue while coughing or sneezing. If you experience these symptoms and you had traveled or been in contact with a person from a country reporting COVID-19, you should isolate yourself for 14 days and seek immediate medical attention or report to the nearest health center. This message has been brought to you by the government of Kenya and its partners. For accurate information on COVID-19, dial *719# or call 719. Follow us on Twitter at @MOH_Kenya, at spokesperson GOK, at WHO.
Right, welcome back after the break. I do trust that you're doing well, and we had asked you a question before we went for a break on what is the solution to all these challenges that we do face as farmers, as consumers, and have seen a lot of messages are coming in, and thank you so much for that. And I would love to explain something small on how we can mitigate these challenges. How do we mitigate them? Number one, as you can see on your screen, there is that online marketing. Our farmers need to embrace online marketing. Online marketing helps them to be able to market their product now that our markets are closed. Remember we said that our markets, there's no market. You find that if you in Meru, the marketplace is closed. If you in Nairobi, the market is closed. Ruiru, the markets are not operating. So once the commodities are produced by our farmers, they are not able to be marketed properly. Why? Because the government closed the marketplaces because to curb the spread of COVID-19, and it is a great pandemic that has affected all of us. And now when it comes to the issue of online marketing, as you can see there, online marketing, you can just use your phone. You can use your phone. You can use your laptop. You can use any other gadget that can access internet to do marketing of your commodities. How possible is that? What you have to do is there is some applications that have been developed to link farmers and the ultimate consumer. So what happens here is that you log in, give an order of items that you need, then from there the farmers or the suppliers that do supply, they'll come back to you. They'll tell you, they will reply maybe what you need, you specify the amount of the commodity you need and the type of a commodity you need, then you pay and then they are delivered to you. So those are the some of the things that our farmers can be taught, and they embrace that, then their commodity not go to loss. If you've produced a lot of potatoes, a lot of maybe cabbages, and you do not know how to market them, embrace online marketing. You can also advertise your commodities and people will come to buy, because the government want to reduce the art of interacting with interaction, that is, so to avoid the spread of COVID-19, because you know that it's a great challenge that is all of us we are facing. So once you embrace online marketing, there's not that big interaction. Remember that in the last episode where we are dealing with the marketing of agri commodities or agri produce, we focused more on what entails in marketing, all the way from the point of production to the point of consumption. So there are a lot of processes that occur in between there, and there is a lot of interaction even with the middlemen and other actors in marketing. So you as a farmer, maybe you do not have the knowledge on how you can embrace this issue of online marketing. Maybe your son is there or your daughter is there. What you do, ask them and they will show you how, because they have smartphones, they have laptops and all those gadgets that can access internet. And once you do that, and you'll be able to mitigate some of those challenges to do with the marketing, because one of the challenges we saw is that of there is no market. And the question still remains, what is the solution to all those challenges you've seen? You can comment via the Facebook text box. As well, you can send your comment via the number that is appearing on your screen, and I'll be able to see some of your comment and be able to read them and see how all of us we can embrace these technologies, we can embrace this farming and help our farmers to market their commodities, help our farmers to mitigate all those challenges they are undergoing through. And there's some videos there, you will see them, and the first video would love us to see is the video on plant nutrition. Plant nutrition. What is plant nutrition? Remember earlier before I had talked about photosynthesis. I had talked about you feeding the plant, you feeding the crop. Because when you feed the crop, it means that the crop will grow well and the crop will have a nutrient that it needs to be able to continue to do metabolic processes. And that video it talks about plant nutrition. Once you apply that fertilizer, the plant will take the nutrients and then it will continue to do with it will continue with the process that it does for it to grow well. And as you can see on your screen, that video is being played for you. Yes.
Does a plant require any other nutrient other than nitrogen? Like any other living organism, plants also need nutrients to be healthy. The roots absorb a number of nutrients from the soil through roots. Remember, plants cannot absorb nutrients in a solid form. They absorb the nutrients dissolved in water. Look at this table. What do you understand from this table? Other than nitrogen, plants also require phosphorus and potassium. The The quantity of each nutrient varies from plant to plant. Sugarcane requires a very high amount of nitrogen, while rice requires less per hectare of land. Rice requires more of potassium than any other nutrient. Sugarcane and millets require maximum potassium. Almost all the plants mentioned require similar amount of phosphorus with slight variation in the quantity. It is not only these nutrients, but plant also absorbs a number of other mineral salts from the soil. It is not only these nutrients, but plant also absorbs a number of other mineral salts from the soil.
Alright, thank you very much for that video. I do believe that you've learned something, and on the same, there's another video that I would love us to watch on how we can mitigate those challenges. Is that of another one is about technologies. You find that agriculture and technology, they go hand on hand. Without applying the technology, you cannot be able to boost your farming. You cannot become a meliorated farmer. You cannot become an improved farmer, a better farmer, a farmer that is able to produce commodities very well. And once they take, the farmer takes the commodities to the market, they will fetch good market. So as you can see on the screen, there is another video about technology, and this one was captured somewhere in India.
Over thousands of years without caring much for its replenishment. In agriculture, the main problem which every small or large-scale farmer faces is the assurance on the economic sustainability. The problem is more challenging due to several unknown parameters like rainfall and other weather parameters, to name a few. Keeping all these problems in mind, TCS Innovation Labs came out with an idea of providing personalized advisory platform for the farmers. This platform is called M-Krishi. The research team works towards various challenging research problems. These include mitigation of diseases, nutrient and pest disorders in crops, and automatic detection of agriculture activities.
We are looking at a concept like directed research, where the field team, based on the needs of the customers, they forecast what could be game changers 2 years down the road. And based on that, the research team is directed to fill the void which currently exists.
In M-Krishi ecosystem, there exists a vast experience and knowledge which is residing in agriculture institutes. However, this has not been used by and large. We realize that it is important to work towards various technological solutions which will bridge the gap between farmer and agriculture expert.
Pest or disease attack causes a huge economic loss for different crops every year. Main cause for this loss is either wrong identification of disease or improper usage of pesticide. So farmers need experts' guidance for proper identification of diseases and also advices related to the corrective actions they should take after or before the pest or disease attack.
We are working on image processing algorithm to identify the disease and to find out the disease severity for different crops like potatoes, citrus, grapes, etc. We are providing farmers a mobile application through which they can click images from their farms and send those images to the server, where this image processing based algorithm processes those images to find out what type of disease it is and the disease severity also. Based on these results, experts can give advice to the farmers like what type of corrective actions they should take, like what type of pesticide they should apply and at what amount.
Weather parameters are collected using wireless sensor networks. Sensor nodes are deployed in fields which sense temperature, humidity and many other different weather parameters and are sent to the server for analyzing the weather condition. And to provide advices related to the disease severity, human participation is used. The application utilizes Google Map and inbuilt GPS of the mobile to mark the boundary of the particular farm. Here, the person has to first log in and select the area registration feature. Then, he or she needs to move along the selected farm. The application dynamically marks the boundary, displays it on the map and uploads it.
We have developed an Android-based application to collect sensor data such as of GPS, accelerometer and gyroscope from the farm. These phones are tied on the upper arm of the farmer or kept in the trouser pocket, or alternatively we have sensor shirt to be worn by the farmers to collect similar kind of data. A mobile sensing framework has been developed which uses machine learning algorithms for the classification and detection of these agricultural activities. We are able to detect activities such as harvesting, transplantation, bed making, standstill and walking with an average accuracy of up to 90%.
Remote sensing data, which is available from number of satellites, provides information in different bands which is not visible to the naked eye. Here, M-Krishi envisions use of these information for agriculture. M-Krishi platform envisions to make use of this technology to provide alerts and advices to the farmers based on information obtained from satellite data through M-Krishi platform.
In future, we aim to work towards energy efficient algorithms and greater penetration of sensors and more involvement of farmers in our rural participatory sensing framework.
Right, as you have seen on that clip, that a technology that you can adapt so that you may better your farming. Technology is playing a big role in farming. All of us need to embrace technology and improve our farming. And before we look at the last clip, even as we wind up, allow me to read this comment. Paul Kimani says from Nairobi that digital services are the best method to take agriculture to the next level. It says that he is Paul Kimani from Nairobi, and thank you so much, Paul, because he is emphasizing more on digital services. So online marketing will be able to help you to market those commodities even when the markets are locked. And something else, even as we wind up, is about the kitchen garden. And we are talking about the technologies, and as you can see, there are a number of urban technologies that you can adapt so that you may continue to provide food even in your family. For example, there is a pyramid garden, there are vertical gardening, there are tire gardens, there are a number of technologies that you can use. Even the bucket, we've seen some vegetables, some onions being grown in the bucket, and they are doing very well, and you are able to access the food even at your doorstep. Then the last clip you're going to watch is a clip on a kitchen garden, because all of us are facing these challenges. There's a challenge of a poor transport, as we had seen earlier, and all of us, we are working hard to solve all those challenges. So to avail food in your family and avoid going to the market and contracting maybe even the diseases, you need to embrace technologies of what we've talked about. And the last one is about the kitchen garden. So in that video you are seen there, and that video is on hydroponic farming. You can see some beautiful tomatoes there, and I believe that the video has been projected for you. Thank you very much for that. That is the kitchen garden, a typical of a kitchen garden that you can raise in your farms to avail food there. And you've seen some beautiful tomatoes there, and the hydroponics are very easy to construct. If you talk about maybe like a pyramid gardens, whereby you use damp paper, you fill with the soil, manure, the stones, and all that process that follows, and you're able to have a garden in your home that you can use to raise your crops. And from that, you avail crops in your home. You'll avoid going to the marketplace to look for maybe vegetables, to look for other things, and you will be on the safe side. And what we are reminding all of you is, that embrace farming and you'll feed a nation. And remember that Boresha Ukulima always works hard to make sure that it gives you the best. It gives you the best knowledge that you deserve as a farmer, the best knowledge that you deserve as a consumer, and therefore you cannot hesitate to miss Boresha Ukulima Show. And always remember that whenever you tune in to Destiny TV, or rather, you'll be able to learn more, because Destiny Fraternity cares for you. And next week we'll have some other technologies that we will be focusing in on, or rather, and keep tuned. Keep you can even check the other episode that we've done before, link them together even with today's episode. Even as we meet next week, we will be able to understand more, and you'll connect that, because Boresha Ukulima cares for you so much. And I remember my name is Kennedy Mushira, your host, and my sign language interpreter is Mr. Musioka. And thank you so much for keeping tuned in to Destiny TV, a station that impacts your life.